Hello guys, and welcome back to Birth of America 2. In the last episode, we conquered this little area up here. What is this called? Acadia? What is that called? Grand Pré in Acadia. We learned that our ships can't bombard for whatever reason during an actual battle. Maybe it has something to do more with sieging. We're still learning the game, we're still progressing, and now we're going to pick it up, continue working on this turn, and see what we can do. Our combat ships up here are pretty much only going to be useful in this northern region, given that France's military, naval powers. It's going to be useful in three places. Number one is going to be down here, if we ever try to take the French West Indies, because if you take a look, it's a strategic location. And later on in the British West Indies, I saw that we do in 9 turns, it seems. I remember this saying 11 last turn. Now it says 9? I don't understand that, but in 9 turns, we will unlock this force here, which could probably use a general, and probably some more force in general. There's a level 6 harbor, level 10 city. Oh, no wonder this is so, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. No wonder this is so, I don't know, important, strategic, I guess. This looks like it would be hard to take. This is definitely a later in the war thing, but we will have some forces here. We will eventually want to get a navy, send it down here, collect these troops, and then push for a naval landing here. But that's later on. It is a strategic point that we'd want to take by the end of the war, but we have more important things to focus on. Naval forces would also be useful just up here in Canada, fighting the French up here. In general, trying to bombard, I guess, if we're besieging Quebec or some of these other places. But it's also dangerous because they could freeze up here. Yeah, see, may freeze. Wait, these ones don't say may freeze, but they can freeze. May freeze. Is that just saying any turn may freeze? That's kind of scary. It's also useful right here in Louisburg. Or I'm sure the French probably call it Louisburg or Louisbourg or something like that. This looks like a very well-defended city, given that it has a level 3 fort. So this would also be another thing we would touch later. They have a city here connected to our city here. It's kind of weird, but this is a very important one to take. It's actually a strategic target, but we would worry about that later on. That being said, as you can tell, for combat ships, they're mainly going to be useful up here. So I'm going to take these guys, get rid of the bombard orders, I guess. You could keep them, I guess. It doesn't really matter. And then you're going to go dock over here in the Sable Cape in Annapolis Royal and just kind of relax for now until we end up going to try to capture Saint Jean. Saint Jean? I don't know. It's French, so I'm going to assume Saint Jean. We'll probably send these guys down there only when they're ready to do so, because it's so close to this. It's guarding your flanks. They only have a level 1 fort. I don't know what they have here, but it's definitely something that we should look at taking. So I'm not quite sure what exactly we're going to do with this guy right here just yet, but I just thought of the perfect thing, right? So going west, I don't see there's too much of a point. This is all wild nothingness there'd be no point to try to go through. This is all fortified. This is our stuff. We're in this area with multiple units already. There's no reason to go over here. He's so far away from the south, there's just no point to go down here yet. There's no fighting here. I'm sure there's Indians running around somewhere, but there's really no purpose to fighting anywhere down here yet. This isn't the Civil War. Not even the right game. They do have a game called Civil War, and I will play that eventually. But I did think it would be smart then to instead send him up to Albany, meet up with these guys, because he has some supply wagons, and this guy could use a supply wagon. So we could go up there, meet them, transfer one of the supply wagons over, so that everyone has a supply wagon, and then, next turn, hopefully they activate, and we can figure out what to do with them. I think Albany is going to be a good center point where we're going to gather our troops and then head west and north to try to reach what am I, a little kid? Reach up here, Montreal, which is an important strategic point to take, as you can see, and also west to try to start pushing into Oswego, capture that back to start to push towards Niagara, and even over here to Detroit, which belongs to the French right now, Le Detroit. Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. However, one thing I noticed is that if I drag him up here, it's going to take 38 days to get up here while we're activated, even going along a major road and then regular road. So I just thought of something, and I'm probably no genius for thinking it up, but for this being my first game, I'm a little proud of my plan here. We're going to put him on a fleet, baby. So I don't need all these ships for this, so we're going to separate this, right? Yeah. The New Jersey. And we're gonna take the New York and the Albany, which is now the second fleet, and we're going to take him and we're going to toss everything he has on here. It's a weight of 36, so it should fit on here just fine. Yep. And now we're going to take this and we're going to send it up here. And distant unload. There. Okay, yes. So we will disembark, and it's only going to take 4 days to get there now. So we'll be there basically immediately this upcoming turn. Now, I'm not quite sure why this happened, but for whatever reason, one of our bateaus we were moving got delayed for 4 days in Philadelphia before moving. Yeah, it's already been moved down to, I believe, here. Yeah. I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's like a random event thing that happens, but it's good to keep note that things like this can happen. So I think that last turn was the turn where we raised the regulars. So we're gonna, this turn around, train elite soldiers. I really don't understand what this does. There's 25% chance to have an elite replacement, 75% chance to have a regular replacement. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that means as a one-time thing I have a chance to get some elite units or not. And if not, I don't know if they're going to be regulars or not. I don't know if this is something like, oh, for the rest of the game, all of your replacements have a 25% chance to be elite. As you see, this description is really lacking. But I'm going to do this. It's 13 EP. We have 21, so it should be more than sufficient. We could also squeeze something else in here. We can, oh yes, we can go for militia or raiders. We have more militia than raiders, and our raiders, I'm going to go with the raiders. 2 replacements for native raiders, and let me tell you why. Because a lot of the invasion that's happening is over here, and as you can see, we have a lot of native units over here. We started out with more replacements for sure, and you see this place here is actually being besieged for the time being, and it has the Seneca tribe, and this guy right here, who's actually a native leader, who has another Seneca unit in his, his unit. He has 3 elements, it says. And if we, how do I select a unit again? I know. Here we go. And if we take a look, he has some pretty decent stats. He's an ambusher, level 5. Wow, that's really good for offense. He's also charismatic, which provides 5 more maximum cohesion and 25% increase in fatigue recovery rate to units under his command. He's a pretty good native leader, so we want to make sure he can get away without dying, if anything. The force besieging him isn't very strong, so I'm not exactly worried. I believe it's a French, this is like a French native expedition. Just to kind of buff up our natives here, these irregulars will start to unlock as time goes on here. Not too many of them have yet, though. And also, we're going to take a look over here. So I'm going to, I think, because this guy already has supply, I'm going to leave this guy waiting here for the supply that I'm going to bring up the river to him next turn. This guy, he's unactivated, so I don't want to, march him into a battle up here like this. That's probably suicide. So for now, I'm just going to move him up here. It's only going to take 12 days, so we can move pretty easily along this route, even though there's no roads here. Surprising. I know, because there's rivers here, I could always sail up here. I could wait, but we're already moving so fast. So we're going to march up there. We're going to enter the structure when we arrive. That will get us into here with this German Flats Garrison Mohawk. Okay. Inside the German Flats. What level fort is this? Level 1 city. Oh, there's no fort. It's just a city. Well, we'd be safer here, that's for sure. But I do want to start getting a move on towards here, because we do have to start sending troops this way to counter Oswego. And he may not be activated, so, I wouldn't want to attack with him. But he does have a good amount of power, nonetheless, so we can at least get him moving the right direction. I don't want to move him all the way over here, despite there being a fort, because this guy might decide to assault the fort. And while he doesn't look very strong, I'd still rather not risk throwing an unactivated unit right on him. But at least if he keeps moving east, I can get in his way, hopefully, around this city and get ready to, jump on him, basically. the following turn. I think that's going to be it for this turn though, so let's hit next turn and see how these battle results go. Alright, so these guys are keeping up their repeated attacking, except this time we actually got a victory, not a stalemate. We inflicted 25 casualties on them, which will now bring their numbers under ours. I guess we got a little bit of firepower and managed to actually do something. I wonder if that's going to continue. Yes, it is continuing. They're repeatedly attacking, but they're losing 25 men each time. Another 25 men, yep. Oh. Battle, oh, he is still moving east. Well, that's going to make the fact that I was moving this guy over here a little interesting, because he has just assaulted. He's going to take 12 days to get there. We're on day 4. He is assaulting currently the German flats, which only has 1 garrison unit in it of 157 men, now 20 lost. He's attacking with raiders, Braves raiders. Yeah, the French pretty much rely on the Indians for this shit. He came in with 259 men, lost 30, so I mean, kind of in our favor, but not really. 1 hit suffered on each side. We had 6 global combat value versus his 23. It's not looking good. Percentage of surprise. Yeah, that's not good. Ooh, okay, another victory. We actually knocked one of his raider units completely out of the fight. Uh-oh. He's continuing to attack the German flats here. But this time, we suffered no losses, and he suffered 30 losses. What's the hits looking like? He suffered 1 hit, we suffered 0. Wow, what? 0 combat value on our side, and we're still inflicting casualties? 30% combat bonus, 2x protection to all irregular units, only in difficult terrain. This looks difficult. What is this? Forest? That's probably pretty difficult. And he's still getting the surprise bonus. I don't like that. Commander, 20% chance of surprise. Oh, I see. He just always has a chance of surprising the enemy. British victory on this day. He lost 60 units to our 0. Guys, I don't understand. The first turns that I tested, I know I've said this before, but the British got their asses kicked every time. I haven't changed any difficulty settings since then. I don't know why these combat results are going so well. Maybe, like, the game just knows I'm a beginner and is going easy on me, but the battle is continuing. He's lost 61 men this time, and in his assault, he lost 1 of his 2 units, suffered 2 hits as opposed to our 1. Combat value of both sides initially is 0 now. It's going to continue, though. It is going to continue. Lost another 30 men. Day 8. Oh, this is continuing. 25 men lost again. He took like a break for a few days, didn't he? But he's still going, and he's still losing men. 0 men lost this time. So we're at the point, I guess, where we can't hurt each other. I wonder how that's going to change. It looks like day 10, you know, I'm starting to arrive here with these units. I wonder if that's going to make a difference. Because he's unactivated, so I don't know how it's going to go. Another 25 men lost. He only has 25 men remaining over here. There's a pretty decent general, too. Wow, yeah. Pretty good general, in fact. I wonder if we can kill him during this. Probably not. The general probably gets away. All right, but another 25 men lost. Sorry, he had 26, apparently. I don't know how 50 minus 25 equals 26. Probably including the general or something, but it didn't display that before. That being said, his raider unit here is dead. And, oh shit, he attacked again, but our new force showed up right in the middle of it, and he went to assault, but here comes, like, Gandalf over the hill with his 64 horses and almost 3,000 men, and then all 60 of the remaining men were wiped out. Wow. That's crazy. I moved him here to avoid a conflict with this guy because I didn't want the unactivated to hurt me. But he basically tired himself out, basically wiped himself out, throwing himself at this garrison for like 11 days straight. Not exactly, maybe like 8 days straight. And then right when he was battered to the point where not him nor the garrison could hurt each other, our major force right here shows up and actually saves the day. The trench effectiveness is like gone. Only 4%. Yeah, 4% of the units were inside the city. But we just wiped him out. I don't even think his general got away from that. Hopefully not. Whatever damage we can do, the better. Looks like this siege over here has stopped. I don't know where that unit went to, but he has a general still defending Oswego. That's one thing. We got to take back Oswego. That's an important point for us. And looks like that's the rest of the turn there. No other battles. And it looks like all the outstanding battles were actually resolved. Like, he moved through here to attack here specifically, and he got his ass beat. Okay. I don't know where these guys came from, but like I said earlier, you cannot see where all of the Indians are because irregular units have a chance to stealth. He's over here, kind of, what is this? Permanently fixed. He's kind of besieging this, but I don't know if he's going to actually besiege it. Fixed for 12 turns, this militia. Okay. Well, hopefully he attacks, because if he does, he will unfix all of these units, and there's no way he can take this. Raiding here. So this unit looks like, yeah, this unit came down from New Hampshire, or this area anyway, down into St. Stephen, maybe down through here. Actually, I don't know. I would imagine he would have raided this, but I don't see any raiding. This guy is all by himself now. This poor man. He's just a general by himself. I kind of just want to go on the offensive, you know? And then see if I can kill his unit here. I don't know if being in the city would maybe get in the way of that, but there's no way that he could, like, beat us, right? Well, either way, I'm gonna leave him on the defensive, I think, because... Oh, shit. What was that even doing? Why was that on, like, assault? No, it was on hold at all costs. Defend. Are all of our garrisons placed on hold at all costs? They are. All of our garrisons by default are on hold at all costs. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, no. This one's on defend. Only our active ones are on hold at all costs. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But I guess I'll put that guy back. My reason being, he's still a little battered and bruised. He has no ammo. No ammo. So even if this is just the general does have at least one element. I don't want to accidentally get this militia, like, killed. Let's make sure he's in the building. I don't want to accidentally get him killed and then lose this because I was stupid, basically. We failed to engage the enemy here. So we had a chance to engage him with this garrison, but we didn't. We also failed to engage the enemy here. So there's definitely some Indians. Remember I mentioned this, I think, last turn. I thought there was an Indian running up and down this stretch. There is definitely an Indian running down this stretch right now. We had a 61% chance to engage and seemingly failed. This general here has just been granted his first bit of seniority for winning that battle there. See? Shirley has been congratulated for his victory. New seniority. Which is pretty nice. The French equipped 2 militia replacements, so they are going through their replacements. They're currently playing by approximately the same rules as us. I think the AI get a little bit of advantages over the player in the default settings. They should generally be playing by the same rules as we are. We try to train elite troops. We try, but did we? I don't know. I don't think so. It looks like we've used, like, all of our line infantry reinforcements. Is that something I can... Oh, what is this? Oh, no, that's something I already saw. I don't see anything. Oh, I guess it's this kind of thing. Provincials receive provincials. That might be saying that they're receiving reinforcements. Do any of these buttons? Yes, some of these buttons do tell me that. Okay, yeah, so this is replacements. Replacements, levies, and new units messages. So, like, probably that was 3 line infantry, the 2nd Massachusetts Provincials. Which one is that? 2nd Massachusetts. It's in one of these stacks here. Oliver has sailed up here now. We got to make sure to get this supply sent over here so that he has a supply truck. And 96 garrison received provincials. Yeah, so I guess they weren't up to snuff, so he's throwing some of the replacements over there. By he, I mean basically God, the forces at work, because you don't 100% control who gets the replacements. By being in a town or a city with at least a level 1 like supply depot, I think, or city, or maybe ports count too, I'm not sure. You have a chance to receive replacements. That chance is improved if you're in defensive mode, and it's skyrocketed if you're in passive mode. But it's still up to chance, so it's not fully in your control. For whatever reason, it feels like my guns for natives did not go through. I don't know if you can only do one of these a turn, but we had 33 EP after the turn ended, and we spent 13, which was exactly the amount for training the elite units, or trying to, which I think just didn't go through correctly. Like, it failed, so we got a regular line infantry. So the guns for natives didn't really go through by the looks of it. Again, I don't know why that is, but oh well. We'll try it again this turn. And then we'll also throw in +2 replacement militia, raise more militia, so that we can start filling in our replacements, which are very sparse. We have no other options to get line infantry, which is a little worrying, because I think most of my units are line infantry. If you take a look over here at Fort Cumberland, our big man here, Braddock, has arrived with his force, finally. It's funny, he actually made the supply level here seem bad. I don't fully understand it. Maybe we just, we sucked up so much supply upon arriving that it's no good. Our cohesion is pretty shitty, so I think I might let us rest here for a day to try to regain some cohesion. I don't know how fast that goes up, or if it even would go up with the amount of supplies we have here. I checked, it's going to take 63 days to march everything over here. I could try to force march it to go faster. That's probably not very smart. I don't know what is smart here, honestly. But I think I'll give him a turn to essentially rest and recuperate after marching for literally, basically months through deactivated and activated times, crossing a river before finally reaching here. Give him a month to basically rest and relax inside Fort Cumberland, and then we'll figure out exactly what the supply situation is next turn, because again, it's not giving me the most amount of information. It looks like we're good. It looks like we're good for supply. We probably just sucked a bunch of it up. And I'd rather get going with as much supply and cohesion as possible, so at the moment we arrive over here at Fort Duck, we can basically assault it immediately without waiting. Oh man, that little scroll is very sensitive. I should use my arrow keys more. And knock it over. It's a level 1 fort. There is 2 defending units, and I think this dude basically appeared out of nowhere. Regardless, the force we're arriving with, assuming that I let it get its cohesion and make sure it's supplied, should be more than sufficient to knock down whatever's in here. If this guy is any indication of how quickly cohesion can rise when sitting in a base doing nothing for a month, as you see, it's gone back up real quick. He went from no cohesion to maxed out cohesion. The other dude said he had a variation of 2.85 a day. I was processing that in my head as a turn, but if it's a day and you have a cohesion of 88, then 2.85 a day, that's 28, 29 per 10 days times 3. That's pretty much almost, or getting to, 3/4, a little more than that, of your max cohesion here. So he should be up and running down there, Braddock, that is, by next turn and ready to get a move on. So I am hopeful of that. It is August, so it would be September. So we do have to be careful about the weather, because if he gets ready and it is September and then he marches, and let's say it's going to take him 63 days, that's a little over 2 turns. So it would be September. He'd get here in October. He'd be arriving here in November. That means he'd get here by December, which is when the snow would kick in, potentially. So that could be tough. That could be tough if we get there and all of a sudden, the snow kicks in. Maybe if I left the artillery behind, that's something I'll have to fuck around with. From what I can tell, it's either leave now or potentially arrive in the winter, which would be absolutely catastrophic, and we definitely don't want that. That being said, this dude up here is in a little bit of an odd situation, so he's currently deactivated. The next target I'm going to send him for is here. But I realized if I send him down here, this isn't going to have a garrison defending it. I just realized that. Because it's not like garrisons automatically spawn. We just took this. We'd have to put a garrison in here. We don't really have garrisons. We have a militia we could leave. This is a Canadian unit. They get a big penalty if they leave Canada, but I don't plan on making this guy leave Canada. He is carrying one more unit than he can efficiently carry, so maybe I might want to leave the Nova Scotians here to defend, because we do know for a fact that there are Native Americans running up and down here. But at the same time, you know, just to take a look here, if I pull this guy out, 229 goes to 213. I don't know, maybe it's important to have him. The line infantry is definitely better. You can actually see the line infantry just got like they got some buffs basically because the 5% debuff left. I think that's what I'm going to do then. I'll wait until next turn, make sure he's in the fort, and then I'll probably pull this militia out, leave them here as a garrisoned unit basically, and then move the rest of the force down here to take this. Although, I don't know how long that's going to take. I mean, right now it's 56 days, but he's deactivated. Quicker travel time for sure, even with a deactivation penalty, than Braddock is going to have to deal with. So I do think we can get there if he does activate next turn. In one turn, maybe? 2 at the most, but probably just 1 if I had to imagine how big this penalty was. That's a cross my fingers and hope kind of moment, though. And then we can hopefully, I guess, assault this when we get there, or give it a turn. Maybe put these guys back out on bombardment, and then it might help if I don't assault immediately, because I don't know what kind of troops he has here. You can see this is kind of in the fog of war. I don't actually know yet. In fact, I might want to, like, just move these guys back out. They've been supplied. They have their cohesion back. Let's step them outside real quick and take a look-see here, and they have orders to bombard, just in case. They might be able to take a peek into here and see for us what they have stationed here. I am going to switch something up in my 2 remaining troops in Albany. This guy can carry the bigger force than this guy, 2 versus 4, I guess. I'm going to switch the New York artillery over to him, and then we're going to take one of these line infantry and drag it over to this guy. So he's running around with 3 line infantry, and he now has some artillery. He's the bigger force, so I think it's more important for him to have this. I am gonna, I think, take Mr. Winslow, who's currently down in Baltimore, because it's looking a lot quieter than I expected over here. No signs of natives anywhere, so I'm taking his forces. I'm going to sail them back up the coast, and I'm going to plant them right here in New Haven. We have a whole bunch of cities up here that are unprotected, and we do definitely have some natives behind our lines going after one of our forts. Personally, I think this native unit is just going to move off to somewhere else and disappear, and I won't be able to find it, or it will just keep moving around. But I do want to have a unit over here in case he starts going south, so I can try to cut him off. In the meantime here, I am going to grab these units, this guy, who's still deactivated, mind you, and we're going to send him up here, moving towards, yes, so did I select to go in there? Was there a reason why it wasn't letting me press this? I don't know. Let me take this order off, and then, yeah, it doesn't seem like it, weird. We're going to just move him up here, another 11-day trip, and then he steps into a fort. It allows him to spend the rest of the turn regaining his cohesion after moving so slowly. And then we're just trying to edge him closer and closer to Oswego, his rather powerful force, although no artillery, so that we can recapture Oswego when we get close, which will be important because, again, it's a strategic objective. Which reminds me, because of the military control, oh, here we go, control by Great Britain, 97%. So yes, just having the troops here has been enough, even inside the city, to gain military control over the region. They only have 53% control over Oswego, which is kind of interesting. They just finally passed that, majority point. I'm pretty sure the only reason this is pillaged is because they have to keep raiding the countryside in order to get materials, supplies, because the people living here weren't giving it for free because they weren't loyal to the French yet. I think I'm also going to start moving this guy's force with the artillery up north. Now, this could potentially end up being problematic. He's not going to reach here in one turn. Around here, he should start to go offensive mode because he should. I don't know if having an irregular will change that or anything, but he should start to go offensive mode. And since these 2 points here are undefended, he should basically just claim control of them, immediately. And I want to see how he does with his, stats, essentially, as he gets close to here. I don't know that he has the forces to take this by himself, But Crown Point does have a harbor, which I believe does contribute to supply. I don't know. Okay, I just looked it up, and harbors do in fact provide supply to both land and naval units unless they are blockaded. So I think instead then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to have him move on Crown Point. He's just going to move. It's going to take him 2 turns anyway. It's because he's now lugging the artillery around, so that's going to slow him down. But he should have the supply to make it there. And then he'd basically just plant his feet there, take it over, claim it for us, and then it should provide him some supply to get back on his feet, and we can prepare and see about potentially attacking this. Because in addition to going west, we're also going to want to go up north and start basically doing a, west and north kind of push towards Montreal here. Because it's going to lead us to this little set of rivers, which leads to, I believe, a good amount of their objectives. Quebec's up here. This is down here. This is down here. It's all connected by this river. So I want to push that way in every direction I can so we can really claim control over it. And in the meantime, I know I am sending this guy down here, and I know I said this guy's probably going to get away, but I'm going to take this guy's force because it is pretty meager, if we're being honest. And I'm going to send him this way. Only 13 days to get there. Send him on the offensive so that if he gets there and he finds this guy, good. Then he'll attack him and hopefully kill him. If not, oh well, he'll just sit around here essentially, chilling out for the rest of the turn. And if, depending on how that goes, I may send him west or north later after I get a better idea of what's going on. I just want to see if I can catch this guy or corner him or something. I don't know. I believe that is the rest of my turn for now, though. I may have missed something, but I'm going to end this episode here, and if there's anything else I'm going to do this turn, I'll check it next time. Otherwise, next episode, we're going to hit end turn and see where it goes. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.